Okay, it's nugget time, and in this quick nugget, we're going to talk about confidence. One of the common denominators I see in successful people is confidence. Supreme confidence in who they are and what they do. Confidence is a funny thing, though. It can take time to build up supreme confidence in yourself and what you're doing. What does confidence mean anyway? One definition of confidence that applies to this nugget is a feeling of self-assurance arising from one's appreciation of one's own abilities or qualities. So self-assurance in one's own abilities. That's partly why it can take quite a bit of time to build true confidence. To have assurance in your own abilities, you have to be rock solid at those abilities and have a track record of success in those areas in your own mind. That can take a lot of practice and a lot of time. But what if I told you there was a shortcut? What if I told you that you could trick yourself into being confident? I believe that you can, and I have a great story I think that illustrates this. So I got a shout out, and this shout out goes to a guy named BC. We're not going to use his full name, but BC, you know who you are, and thank you for this information. So have you ever heard the saying, fake it till you make it? It's a great saying and an excellent way to build up confidence fast. Somebody recently told me that a better way to say that is fake it until you become it. And I think that's a much better way to look at that quote. I've been doing this my whole life, like many other successful people, faking it until I make it. Whether it was applying for a corn detasseling job when I was a teenager, or operating a skid steer recently and I had no idea what I was doing, but I told them I did, or selling insurance along the way. If I didn't have the experience, it didn't stop me from jumping in both feet first with the intention of learning what I didn't already know. Acting like I had it all figured out along the way, even though I didn't. Recently, I had the opportunity to go on a fun golf trip with a good friend of mine that I had the privilege of training in F&I over 10 years ago. We were talking about his current success, and he was doing better than he'd ever done before. In fact, for the last year, he has been producing results that put him in the arena of top performing F&I managers in the country today. So I asked him what he was doing differently to get these top results, and I found his answer to be profound. Something everyone should really think about too. In a nutshell, this is what he said to me. Blakely, I'm not doing anything different as far as my process or presentation than what you and I were working on all those years ago. The big difference is my confidence. He said, one day I was at home playing with my grandson and he put on this Spider-Man costume. As I watched him, I was amazed at how when he put on that costume, he really thought that he was Spider-Man. His personality changed when that mask went on and his confidence went through the roof. Simply putting that mask on turned him into a whole different person. I got to thinking to myself that if my grandson can change his personality and confidence just by putting on a silly mask, why can't I do the same thing? And that's when I decided I could and that I would. When I went to work the next day, I decided I was going to be the Spider-Man in the F&I department. Everyone was going to get the Ritz-Carlton treatment. An excellent experience and a world-class education in my office was going to be the norm. I used to listen to all the bullshit and let it get into my head. And I decided I was going to tune that stuff out and do the best job I could every time, period. I used to listen to the sales staff when they said that the customer was in a hurry and wanted to get their paperwork done quickly, so just have it ready to go. I used to think that the so-called top performers in F&I were lying and cheating and stealing to get those results. I used to have negative self-talk and think things like, this customer hasn't bought anything the last 5 purchases and they're not going to do anything this time either. I used to go look at old deal jackets and see how they did things before and try to mirror that, not offering certain things to certain people sometimes. I used to cut corners and half-ass things sometimes. I used to think if it was a cash customer, it was a waste of time. I used to think that having to call a customer on the phone and do a presentation to people that couldn't come in the store was a waste of time. Well, not anymore. Now that I'm the Spider-Man of F&I, I don't do any of that stuff. Everyone gets treated like royalty, and everyone gets a world-class presentation no matter what. That alone has been the key to my success. Seems silly, but I'm actually doing all the things we used to talk about instead of just talking about it. That's the difference. Well, thank you for that wisdom, BC. I think that's very profound stuff. At the end of the day, he was simply practicing confidence or faking it. It's kind of like me doing these nuggets. One day I decided I want to do some short videos that would help our clients out. We had no idea what we were doing, but that wasn't going to stop us. We ordered equipment, we wrote scripts, we bought video editing software, and we acted like we knew what we were doing. Looking back, our first nugget sucked, but we thought they were awesome, and that's all that mattered at that point. Shoot, they may still suck today, but we still think they're awesome, and we know that they're getting better and better because we're faking it until we become it, and you should too. So let's wrap up. True, deep confidence comes from lots of experience and practice. For salespeople, that experience comes from things like being in lots of sales situations, doing lots of sales training and practicing, understanding things like influence or psychology, being an expert in your products, your process, and having the confidence that you can deliver. Truly knowing you are helping your clients and getting them what they need or want over and over again. It's an art and a science that you work hard at for years and years, wondering if it's ever going to click. And one day, after all that hard work, it does start to make sense and click. That's where true, deep confidence comes from. But you don't have to wait until you have true, deep confidence before you have lots of success. While you are on that journey really mastering your craft, you just need to put on that Spider-Man mask and pretend to be the person that you want to be in the future today. This will really speed up the whole process for you and give you great success along the way. Then one day you're going to look around and think, I still have a ton to learn and a lot of areas to grow in, but I actually am Spider-Man. I actually always was Spider-Man. So as I always say, be a student and master your craft. There's no substitute for that if you want to be a top performer. In the meantime, slip on that Spider-Man mask and fake it until you become it. Now go get a little better and have a great week.